afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. Happy Easter to all those who are celebrating. I'm Jessica Lee and you're watching Updates at Noon. In our leading stories today, PM wants new projects in nation's capital to be beneficial to the rakyat. The Minister calls on the people to refer RTM as source for legitimate Hari Raya date. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the Islamic education, understanding and philosophy of thinking pioneered by the alumni of Al-Azhar University in Egypt have become the fortress of the Islamic faith. He said in conjunction with yesterday's International Day of Al-Azhar that it has become a tradition for the most prestigious university for Islamic learning to produce scholars who make great contributions not only to Malaysia but the whole world. He hoped Al-Azhar University scholars would be able to continue to expand the preaching of awareness and the filling of knowledge, especially among the Madani community.
Saya percaya dengan tradisi ilmu dan khazanah Azhar serta sumbangan besar bukan sahaja di Malaysia tapi pendidikan Islam, kefahaman Islam, kesedaran Islam, fikrah Islam yang dipelopori oleh alumni Azhar seluruh dunia dapat mempertahankan dengan sebagai kubu pertahanan akidah dan mental umat secara bersamaan dan seantero dunia.
The International Day of Al-Azhar was organised by the World Organisation for Al-Azhar Graduates at the Kuala Lumpur Federal Territory Mosque. The celebration program was held in conjunction with the 1083rd anniversary of the establishment of Al-Azhar University. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar said implementation of new development projects in the federal capital must be beneficial to the rakyat. The Prime Minister also said approval for the projects will only be given if it follows the new way of thinking framework of the unity government. This is to ensure that the common folk will be able to enjoy the benefits of any developments implemented in urban areas. The Premier said since taking over the helm of the government, he has frozen a lot of projects which only benefited a certain group of individuals.
Kalau tidak sampai bila kerajaan tak mampu nak belanja keseluruhan dia untuk rakyat berpendapatan rendah, rumah-rumah. Jadi kalau kita luluskan satu tapak, dia ada 10 ekar, dia dapat 7 ekar untuk projek harga tinggi, satu flat 3, 5, 10 juta itu dia buat. Kita jangan halang. Tetapi syaratkan supaya ada projek bagi faedah rakyat biasa. Kalau tidak, orang miskin tak boleh duduk di Kuala Lumpur. Kalau tak ada perubahan dadak begini, orang miskin kena balik corot okun.
He said this at the Kuala Lumpur Federal Territory Level Program Nur Ramadan event in Kerinci. A total of 300 asnaf and hardcore poor in the Pantai also received cash contribution worth RM200 each. Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fazil said legitimate information regarding the date of Hari Raya Aidilfitri can be obtained through RTM. He said this is important to avoid confusion among the rakyat, especially due to information from too many channels such as social media.
Sekarang ni ada banyak ulasan dalam sama ada media sosial ataupun di dalam laman-laman web yang mengangkat pandangan di negara-negara lain tentang kebarangkalian bila tarikh Aidilfitri. Jadi saya bagi peringatan. Beberapa hari lalu saya juga telah bertemu dengan Timbalan Ketua Pengarah JAKIM dan membincangkan perkara yang sama, dan beliau mengingatkan bahawa, dan saya juga mengingatkan bahawa hanya satu tarikh saja yang akan kita ikut, iaitu yang diumum oleh penyimpan mohor besar raja-raja.
He said this after attending an event in Kampung Kerinci yesterday. The issue of the Hari Raya Aidilfitri date has become a polemic following the predictions of several foreign astronomers who expect it will be one day earlier than expected on the 21st of April. The Ministry of Domestic Trade and Cost of Living, or KPDN, will conduct a study to refine the incentives for traders involved in the implementation of the Menu Rahmah initiative. Minister Datuk Seri Salahuddin Ayub said the study is expected to be carried out after Aidilfitri celebrations.
Dan kita akan dapatkan detailsnya. Kita akan dapatkan findings yang lebih bertanggungjawab. Jadi barulah kita kenal pasti nanti segmen yang mana ataupun lokasi yang mana ataupun di mana tempat itu, apakah menu yang mereka tawarkan itu mendapat sambutan ataupun tidak. Itu penting untuk kita kementerian mendapat fakta yang lebih bertanggungjawab tentang isu-isu yang dilaporkan oleh media.
Datuk Seri Salahuddin said the comprehensive study would also involve various other Rahmah initiatives, including the Rahmah baskets, which are distributed to the lower income or the B40 group. KPDN introduced Menu Rahmah initiative on the 31st of January this year, offering meals for lunch or dinner for as low as RM5 at over 15,000 food premises nationwide. The government is looking into alternative measures to procure passport printing machines as a solution to overcome congestion in immigration offices. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution said the matter will be finalised as soon as possible.
Kami juga akan menggantikan printer yang sekarang ni, printer cetak pasport tu, kepada printer yang punya keupayaan lebih tinggi. Macam sekarang, mesin cetak pasport di pejabat pengeluar tu, dia satu hari boleh memproses tak sampai 500 di satu-satu pejabat pengeluar pasport. Tapi sekarang ni kita telah pun mendapatkan beberapa alternatif lain yang akan kita muktamadkan. Keupayaan mesin cetak pasport tu 1 jam sehingga 120 buku. Satu hari boleh pergi sampai hampir 1,000. So itu antara kita nampak ruang untuk penambahbaikan. Yang ada sekarang, keupayaannya cuma sekitar 450. Satu mesin bagi satu pejabat pengeluar pasport.
He also said the Malaysian Immigration Department has issued as many as 2.8 million passports since post-COVID-19, which is a 4-fold increase. The department has also identified 21 offices which are unusually congested, and a pioneer project will be done to find a solution. The 12,000 members of the Muslim Restaurant Owners Association of Malaysia, or PRESMA, will continue to implement the Menu Rahmah program. PRESMA President Datuk Jawahar Ali Taib Khan said the program is supported by restaurant owners under the association to support the government's efforts in helping the rakyat.
Kita perlu faham sebenarnya konsep Menu Rahmah ni dibenarkan oleh Berhormat Menteri KPDN adalah secara sukarela. Dan konsep ini juga diterima baik sampaikan Singapura pun mewajibkan permian-permian makanan mereka menyediakan suatu menu, sudah tentulah bukan Menu Rahmah namanya, tapi mereka juga negara yang mungkin lebih maju daripada kita terpanggil untuk mengadakan ini. Ini sesuatu yang saya rasa di pihak PRESMA kami sambut baik. Mungkin adalah daripada 12,000 pemilik restoran itu mungkin 1-2 ada berbunyi lah kalau ahli PRESMA. Tapi pada saya yang secara personal ya, tanpa saya kata mengadu benda ni tak boleh lah, tak ada lagi lah.
He said participants of the program have always done so voluntarily without being forced by the government to prepare Menu Rahmah. Datuk Jawahar said this at a breaking of fast event in Sri Rampai, Kuala Lumpur. Sultan Selangor Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah consented to officiating the Taman Alam Jaya Mosque in Puncak Alam Kuala Selangor in conjunction with a breaking of fast ceremony with the rakyat. The single-storey building that can accommodate about 2,000 congregants cost RM10.396 million. The mosque was built on land spanning 2.09 acres and was completed in February 2020 after 2 years of construction. Sultan Sharafuddin also consented to receiving business zakat amounting to 6.2 million ringgit from 4 companies. Now, this includes Perbadanan Kemajuan Negeri Selangor, Perbadanan Kemajuan Pertanian Selangor, Jekyll Trading Sdn Bhd and Lembaga Juru Ukur Tanah Malaysia. His Highness also delivered Hari Raya contributions to 544 of the hardcore poor and reverts with a total distributions of 272,000 ringgit. His Highness was accompanied by Tengku Permaisuri Selangor, Tengku Permaisuri Nur Ashikin, and Raja Muda of Selangor, Tengku Amir Shah. Now, the police are on the hunt for an individual who played with fireworks and caused injuries to 2 people in an incident in Kampung Changkat, Gombak. Gombak District Acting Police Chief Superintendent Nur Arifin Mohamad said they had studied a viral video recording of the incident showing a group playing with fireworks facing a house. Preliminary investigations have found that the incident took place at around 31st of March at 12:05 midnight. Now, he said a man aged 19 and a woman 24 were injured in the thigh and ear in the incident. Nur Arifin added that they were tracking down the suspect and the case was being investigated under Section 435 and 324 of the Penal Code. Now, eyewitnesses or those with information about the incident are urged to contact Investigating Officer Inspector Nur Atika Adnan or the Gombak Police Headquarters through the contact numbers shown on the screen. On the foreign front, Houthis and Saudi Arabia to negotiate permanent ceasefire. Stay with us. Now, 31 children have been brought back to Ukraine after being illegally taken to Russia from territories occupied by Moscow. Mykola Kuleba, head of the Safe Ukraine charity, said the children had been taken from the pro-Western country's northeastern region of Kharkiv and the southern region of Kherson. On Friday, the charity said the children and their relatives had crossed the border into Kiev-controlled territory. According to footage released Friday, the children who carried suitcases and bags crossed the border on foot and later boarded a bus to continue their journey. Kuleba praised the heroic mothers who had travelled to retrieve their children in what he called the most difficult of the charity's rescue missions to date. Writing on Facebook, he said the Ukrainian relatives had been subjected to a 13-hour interrogation by Russia's FSB security service. According to Kiev, more than 16,000 Ukrainian children have been deported to Russia since the invasion launched in February last year, with many allegedly placed in institutions and foster homes. Russia denies the allegations, saying instead it has saved Ukrainian children from the horrors of the war. Now, last month, the International Criminal Court announced an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin on the war crime accusation of unlawfully deporting Ukrainian children. The Hague-based court also issued a warrant against Maria Lvova-Belova, Russia's presidential commissioner for children's rights, on similar charges. Iranian authorities are installing cameras in public places to identify and penalize unveiled women. Now, the announcement came amid growing anger among the country's powerful religious elite over the relaxation in mandatory hijab rules since the anti-government protests that erupted in September last year. After the violators have been identified through the cameras, they will receive warning text messages as to the consequences. According to a statement by the judiciary's Mizan news agency and other state media, the move is aimed at preventing resistance against the hijab law, adding that such resistance tarnishes the country's spiritual image and spreads insecurity. The police statement said it will not tolerate any kind of individual or collective behaviour and action in violation of the hijab law. Growing numbers of women have defied authorities by discarding their veils after nationwide protests that followed the death in September of a 22-year-old Iranian Kurdish woman in the custody of the morality police for allegedly violating hijab rules. Omani mediators arrived in Yemen today to discuss a new truce between the Iran-backed Houthi rebels and Saudi Arabia amid renewed moves to end the conflict. Now, diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict have multiplied since the Yemeni government's main foreign backer, Saudi Arabia, signed a Chinese brokered deal to restore relations with Iran last month. The top Saudi and Iranian diplomats previously met in Beijing on Thursday, resuming diplomatic relations and pledging to work together to bring security and stability to their turbulent region. Nearly a decade of war in Yemen has claimed hundreds of thousands of lives, both directly and indirectly, and triggered what the United Nations has called the world's worst humanitarian crisis. The Houthis seized the capital Sana'a in 2014, triggering the conflict with the government, which has been backed for 8 years by a military coalition led by regional heavyweight Riyadh. The rapprochement between the two great regional rivals, Shia majority Iran and mainly Sunni Saudi Arabia, has fueled hopes of reduced tensions in the Middle East, particularly in Yemen. A Yemeni government source speaking on condition of anonymity said that the Saudis and Houthis have agreed in principle on a 6-month truce to pave the way for 3 months of talks on establishing a 2-year transition for the war-torn country. The country enjoyed a 6-month lull in fighting during a ceasefire last year, but that truce was not renewed after it expired on the 2nd of October. Coming up in sport, Son becomes first Asian to score 100 goals in English Premier League.
Perlawanan bola sepak Liga Super 2023. Perkembangan kini semakin sengit dalam memburu takhta kejuaraan. Ahad 9 April, Penang FC bertemu PDRM FC 9.30 malam secara langsung di TV2 dan saluran sukan RTM. Saksikan juga secara penslima langsung di RTM Klik.
And we kick off with local football news. Efforts are underway for the possibility of Melaka United FC returning to the Super League soon, including from the legal aspects. Melaka Chief Minister Datuk Seri Abdul Rauf Yusof said he is currently looking at legal problems facing the club following a court case for allegedly failing to settle the salaries of players and officials.
Saya bukan nak beri jaminan. Saya sedang mengkaji, melihat, meneliti, sudah pasti je saya akan berusaha untuk memulihkan MUFC ini. Saya akan merujuk kepada penasihat undang-undang. Sudah pasti azam saya untuk memulihkan MUFC ini. Cuma tunggu sedikit masa lagi ya.
Last September, MUFC had issued a statement that the team was dropped from the Malaysia Cup competition after failing to settle the outstanding wages of players and officials amounting to 2.3 million ringgit. In Premier League news, Frank Lampard got off to a losing start on his return as interim Chelsea manager last night, beaten 1-0 at Wolverhampton Wanderers and still outside the top half of the Premier League. Matheus Nunes scored the only goal of the night on 31st minute mark at the Molineux. The Portugal midfielder hit the ball on the volley from the edge of the box on the right and passed Kepa Arrizabalaga into the far corner. The victory took some of the relegation heat off Wolves manager Julen Lopetegui with his side, who had captain Ruben Neves serving a 2-match suspension, moving up to 12th and 4 points clear of the drop zone, while Chelsea stayed 11th with 8 points ahead. In North London, South Korean forward Son Heung-min becomes the first Asian to score 100 Premier League goals in Tottenham Hotspur win against Brighton last night. Now, it was a welcome boost for the 30-year-old Son, who has endured a difficult season as well as an unusually long run of poor personal form. Son reached his century in style with a superb curling finish to put Tottenham ahead in the first half. Ava Louise Dunk's equaliser, Harry Kane's 79th minute winner, ensured Son's goal would not go to waste as Tottenham stayed in 5th place with 53 points and continue the hunt for top 4 spot to qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season. Now, Brighton's hopes of gate-crashing the top 4 battle took a big knock and they dropped to 7th with 46 points. Now, Son has enjoyed a remarkable career with Tottenham since signing from Bayer Leverkusen for what now looks a bargain at £22 million. Now, Son hopes his latest milestone moment will serve as an inspiration to other Asians dreaming of playing in Europe's top leagues. Moving on to Bundesliga, an unstoppable 25-meter strike from defender Matthias de Ligt handed Bayern Munich a 1-0 victory over Freiburg this morning, keeping them 2 points clear at the top of the table with 7 games remaining. The Bavarians, who face Manchester City in the Champions League quarter-final first leg next week, had been beaten at home by Freiburg 2-1 in the German Cup last 8 on Tuesday. To his own hands after the interval, breaking the deadlock and beating keeper Mark Flecken with his unstoppable missile into the top corner. Freiburg on 47 dropped into 5th place. Meanwhile, Borussia Dortmund grabbed a 2-1 home win over Union Berlin thanks to teenage substitute Yusufa Mukoko's second-half winner to stay within striking distance of Bundesliga leaders Bayern Munich. Dortmund's victory lifted them to 56 points. Let's check out tennis. Casper Ruud survived a stern test from Quentin Hallis to advance to his first final of 2023 at the Millennium Estoril Open. The Norwegian progressed to his 16th tour-level final with a 6-4, 3-6, 7-6 victory at the ATP 250. Top-seeded Ruud overcame 16 aces from the Frenchman Hallis. After each of the first 2 sets were decided by a single early break, there were no break chances on offer in the deciding set, with each man battling through deuce once on serve. Now, Ruud took an off-court medical timeout late in the second set as his first serve percentage dipped, but he showed no signs of wear in the final set. After clipping the edge of the line with a forehand winner on the first point of the decisive tie-break, Ruud opened up a 3-love lead and never looked back, wrapping up the win in 2 hours, 10 minutes. He will next play for his 10th tour-level title against his good friend Miomir Kecmanovic in today's final. It will be the pair's 3rd ATP head-to-head meeting, but first since 2019, with Ruud seeking his first win in the matchup. In Marrakesh Open, Roberto Carballes Baena knocked off another seeded opponent, Daniel Evans, 2-6, 6-4, 6-2, and advanced to his second tour-level final. The 30-year-old, who won his only previous title match in Quito in 2018, picked up his first win against a top 35 opponent this season in what was his first tour-level semi-final since he reached the last 4 in Bastard in 2021. Carballes Baena used a 5-game flurry to turn the match around from 3-4 in the second set. He had not broken serve since the opening game of the match, but did so in consecutive return games to win the second set and take a 2-love lead in the decider. As his relentless baseline game continued to reap rewards, the Spaniard's 3rd break of the match gave him a 4-1 lead, and he consolidated his advantage by saving a break point in the ensuing service game. Now, after knocking off 5th seed Maxime Cressy in the first round and 4th seed Talon Griekspoor in the quarters, both in 3 sets, Carballes Baena will meet the unseeded Frenchman Alexander Muller in the final.
Kecemasan, boleh saya bantu?
Hello, there's been a motorcycle accident here. Maybe an elephant ran it over. Sir, there is fire accident at the address number 5 Jalan Timbikan, Shah Alam.
PGO from FRT Shah Alam, there was no fire accident here. Over.
MERS 999. Use it wisely.
And that's it for this afternoon. In our top story today, the PM wants new development projects in the federal capital to be beneficial to the rakyat. And don't forget to catch our new bulletin, Malaysia Tonight, at 8:30 p.m. on saluran Berita RTM, or you can stream it via RTM's website and mobile app. Before we go, the English News Desk is looking for candidates to fill in the junior news editor roles. Now, if you are a graduate in mass communication, journalism or other relevant fields, you can send in your resume at the address shown on the screen. Now, let's watch a clip of massive land art by Italian artist Dario Gambarin as a tribute to Picasso. Till then, I'm Jessica Lee. Bye for now.